The second year of Destiny 2 really was a high point for the franchise. Bungie shifted its approach to adding on to the game from a series of larger expansions to more constant, smaller content updates, while telling a larger story that unfolded over the course of the whole year. The Forsaken expansion and the year that followed it were the best Bungie's live shooter has ever been. Destiny 2's latest expansion, Shadowkeep, continues to build on that foundation in just about every way. While the new content hitting the game is a lot of fun, it's the smaller improvements to the way Destiny 2 plays that have the greatest impact.
Last night we detected a seismic disturbance on the moon. Within hours it was swarming with Hive. This plague must not be allowed to spread.
Shadowkeep sends Destiny 2 in a new direction, and it's clearly just the first step in a much longer journey. Bungie's new approach to the game is to create a year-long story arc through seasonal content and activities, but as a result, parts of Shadowkeep can feel a bit thin as we wait for things to continue to unfold. That's primarily true of the story campaign, which centers on Destiny 1 character Eris Morn and sees us returning to the moon for the first time since before Destiny 2 launched. Eris has learned that the Hive, Destiny's semi-magical death-worshipping alien faction, has discovered something sinister there, and it's conjuring up deadly phantasms of your previous foes. So in a way, Shadowkeep is a big reunion tour of old Destiny content. Eris is back, you return to the D1 location of the moon, and you fight slightly watered-down versions of big bad guys you've previously defeated, such as Dark Below raid boss Crota and Destiny 2 vanilla boss Gaul. Since we haven't been back to the moon for 2 whole years, it's something of an amped-up nostalgia trip, but we're still waiting to reach the long-term endgame content that will wrap up some of these story threads. Destiny 2 story campaigns are often a bit quick and lackluster. There are some exciting missions, particularly as you band together with other Guardians and tanks to raid the new Scarlet Keep location. But part of the issue is that this is the prologue of a larger story being told over the course of the year, and that can make it a bit unsatisfying. You'll probably be a bit surprised when it's suddenly over after 4 or 5 hours of dedicated play. But revisiting the moon is pretty cool, especially because Bungie has amped up the location's spookiness factor. Lunar tunnels are filled with frightening screams of hidden terrors, there are plenty of tough enemies to dispatch, and the whole place carries an air of haunted mystery. It seems so far, we've only scratched the surface of what's hidden on the moon. Destiny is at its best when it's full of secrets for the community to discover, and the game has already provided a few big, baffling mysteries that have required everyone banding together to work out. The rest of the expansion's new content is engaging as well, with Shadowkeep providing a variety of experiences no matter what kind of player you might be. The new Nightmare Hunts are pretty much mini strikes, making them quick, palatable boss fights that help you grab new gear. A new take on Nightfall Strikes, the tougher version of Destiny 2's 3-player strike activities, are enticing thanks to a ramping difficulty system that gives you a challenge at a variety of power levels. Exploring the moon has a lot to offer as well. Though a lot of the location is made up of old areas, they're deep and maze-like, and every trip into their depths feels dangerous. Shadowkeep's raid, Garden of Salvation, is the most inventive of the expansion's content, which is usually the case with Destiny's raids. It represents pretty much the toughest challenge in the game, and its strange, unique mechanics require a great deal of coordination and communication from your 6-player team. My team didn't finish it on the first day, but we had a blast working through its various tough encounters. As usual, Destiny 2's latest raid provides a great incentive to keep pushing on the gear grind. Bungie's first bit of seasonal content for Shadowkeep, Vex Offensive, helps add more things to do for players who burn through the expansion's base content. The 6-player activity has you fighting off waves of enemies, and it takes after the Menagerie activity from last season. It's a bit like a light version of a raid activity, requiring a little more coordination than usual without the punishing difficulty. And its huge dump of rewards mean chasing the best rolls for its many guns doesn't feel like a chore.
Next activity's settling down. That ought to slow their progress considerably. Great work.
The content on offer in Shadowkeep is fun to work through, but the real standout of the expansion is the way it improves some of the underlying systems of Destiny 2's gameplay. The big focus is on pushing you to think about the way you load out your character, thanks to the new Armor 2.0 system. Previously in Destiny 2, Armor had specific random perks added to it, which meant if you wanted to focus on different kinds of gameplay, you had to switch to specific gear. But you spent so much time switching between different pieces of gear to push up your character's overall power level that more nuanced stats, like how fast your grenades were charged or how quickly you moved, were easily ignored. Shadowkeep changes that system by making the perks movable between pieces of gear with mods. mods, and unlike in the past, those mods are no longer consumed on use. That gives you more chances to experiment with your loadout to maximize the stats that give you the kind of playstyle you're looking for, or help you excel in a specific role on a team. It gives Destiny 2 something of a more RPG-like focus, and it encourages you to spend more time thinking about how you load out your character, instead of just equipping the items with the highest numbers. There are also big changes to the leveling grind in Shadowkeep that improve the game experience. The early climb up to the game's soft cap of 900 power is quick and relatively painless, with just about every piece of gear you earn while playing improving on your character. Once you hit the soft cap, things do slow down some, as you have to do tougher activities to get better gear, but Shadowkeep includes improvements to keep you from getting bogged down. The new Season Pass system and Seasonal Artifact continue to give you rewards based on experience you earn. You get new gear and cosmetic drops from the Season Pass, and additional power from the Seasonal Artifact, no matter what content you're playing. Those two systems help make the game feel more rewarding, and keep you from getting stalled as you try to become powerful enough for Garden of Salvation and other top-tier content. It also helps that between Shadowkeep's activities on the Moon, the Vex Offensive, the Raid, and Destiny 2's usual activities like Strikes and the Crucible, there's a variety of things to do to keep progressing.
I could not ask for a better victory.
Shadowkeep brings a big shift in the fundamentals of Destiny 2, and that has only improved the game. Returning to the Moon is a spooky good time, and while Shadowkeep might not be as huge as Forsaken, it still brings impressive additions to the world that will take time to fully explore. But it's the smaller, more meaningful gameplay choices that Shadowkeep provides that have me wanting to jump back in and keep taking on the Vex and the Hive. These are changes that Destiny has needed for a long time, and they represent a giant leap forward for Destiny 2.
Welcome. We've been waiting.